El plato fuerte de hoy es el amigo Ken Morse, que nos va a contar sobre... El primer bloque es Setting the Ambition, ¿no? Alineando ambiciones, alineando ganas y alineando dimensiones de compañía y de lo que queremos hacer juntos, ¿no? Va a durar de 9:15 a 11. Luego tendremos un break de media horita arriba y tendremos otra sesión, ¿no? Para identificar la propuesta de valor y cuantificarla, que durará de 11:30 a 1:30. Me piden que todos aquellos que queráis traducción simultánea, los aparatos están al fondo, lo podéis coger, canal 5, y luego cuando termine, por favor, la mañana, los devolvéis. Tenéis allí dos señoritas traductoras que nos van a ayudar con la interpretación al inglés en ambas direcciones. Así que, sin más, si os parece, le doy la entrada a Mr. Ken Morse, que nos va a contar about Setting the Ambition. Ready, Master?
Gracias, señor Grande. Caballero. Buenas. We're trying to make the interpreter have a unemployed, but I can't do that. So there's a reason these trees were killed. Okay? So does everybody have a course book? Okay. Who made this course book? Alba. Where's Alba? Yeah, she's gonna blush. Okay. I mean, every once in a while, I do this, 10 times a year in 6 countries. And Alba did a great job. And it wasn't the only thing she had to do, okay? She was busy with, all the mess that you guys were creating. And I just want to recognize and thank Alba for preparing this and the networking book. Alba, take a bow. And Lital, okay, and Laura, okay, but thank you. That's so, gracias. And Annie thanks you also, my Annie. Okay, open it up to tab number 1. And you can see that everything is in Spanish except for the slides and the big score, okay? Now, tab 2, the yellow one. These are the slides for yesterday and today. Now, I just want to find out whether you guys were really paying attention yesterday. So I'm going to ask, what were some cosmic insights that you got yesterday? Some big idea.
Success brings love.
Success brings love. Write it down. Okay, you all have a pen. Write it down. No, on the slides.
Okay.
On the slides. Success brings love. Okay? And that was great. A+, okay? May I propose a corollary? Big success brings big love. Okay? What's another big idea? Okay, another big idea. Customers need to be delighted. And why delighted, sir?
More times recognition or more valuable than being happy.
Right. Happy customers that's good, but delighted customers are 600% more likely to serve as a very positive reference. Okay, by the way, I am not using sign language to buy options on the Chicago Exchange, okay? I'm communicating with Senora Grande back here, okay? So you tell me if it's too fast. Okay. Another big idea.
Don't use the word software, platform.
Okay, great. And you especially, I'm glad you. The T word, technology. The S word, software. And PT, platform technology. Don't use those words in your pitch. Why? Because then the business guy, who is your target, will push you over to the technology guy. And what happens?
A million questions come.
A million questions, and then?
A lot of work.
Nothing. I'm hearing nothing.
A lot of work and nothing.
A lot of work. And another million questions until you die. Right? So you really can screw things up by talking about technology. I would like to suggest another forbidden word. Our process. Please, for God's sakes, don't say our process. Because they are not buying your process. They're buying the result. Good. Another cosmic insight.
You have to be in charge of the objective of your customer.
You have to be.
The way to give value is looking for the compliance of their objective.
Right. Good. Another cosmic insight. You didn't learn anything yesterday? I know, because you were using your phone the whole time. And maybe. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Ambition is the best predictor for success.
Ambition is the best predictor for success. So I would like to suggest that certainly that's what I have learned. I also want to suggest to you guys that you will be recruiting top-notch people in the years ahead, because we'll be continuously top grading the executive team. Only recruit happy people. We can't make them happy. We can't make them ambitious. We can stimulate and support their ambition, but if they're not happy and if they're not ambitious, don't recruit them. And if you've got people in your organization who aren't happy and who are not ambitious, maybe you can help them find an opportunity elsewhere. They might be able to lead productive lives, but we don't want to have anybody who's not happy and who's not ambitious. That worked well for me when I was running an organization in Europe and Middle East and Africa. Happy and ambitious. You're a happy guy. Yeah, so you set the tone and the culture. Keep it up. Another big idea from yesterday. Right. What my friend from Venezuela, formerly Venezuela, is saying is there's a kind of sales process, and we won't be able to get to the revenue part unless and until we get the process moving. And getting the process moving means identifying the target customer and the person inside the target customer who has a real headache, a real pain, for which we are the aspirin. We are aspirin for their pain. It's better if they have a migraine. Sometimes they're happy and they don't know how bad their problem is. We can help make it really bad by stimulating, by moving their headache to migraine, by developing latent pain. We'll talk about that. But we need to target not the IT guy. I'm not saying they are lower life forms, but they can't help you. And in terms of cosmic insights, who would you rather sell to? A cost center or a profit center? Profit center. Anytime you can help to feed the animal, okay, get the revenue, you want to be working with people whose headache is about increasing revenue and margin. Where's the CFO guy? I really liked him last night. Yeah, there you are. Say something about margin. Our margin and the customer's margin.
You have to help.
You turn around and so she can hear you.
You have to help your customer to increase their margin, but with positive margin for us.
Yeah. Good. Listen, you're lucky. Most CFOs are simply Dr. No. Okay. So this guy gets the picture. Okay. Any other cosmic insight from yesterday? Oh, no. We have all the tools we need here. So I think if you, is this? Okay, good. Thank you.
El CEO, además de ser ambicioso y feliz, tiene que vender.
CEO, besides being ambitious and happy, he needs to sell.
The CEO, besides being ambitious and happy, is the number one salesperson in the company. That's true in your target customers, and it's true here. Very good. Thank you. And one of the exercises we will do this evening is pitching, because the pitch is your way to engage and convince a member of the senior management of your target customer. And that person has to be a business person, not a techie geek. I have no idea how you say techie geek in Spanish, but maybe it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Nerd, geek, same.
Yeah.
Okay. And the sales process means what we're trying to do is get a meeting to convince them to do an evaluation. Fortunately or unfortunately, I teach MBAs, which should make you suspicious, okay? And when I say to the MBAs, what's the purpose of the meeting? They say, to get another meeting. We have to be very clear what we want to get from the pitch. How long is the pitch? Do you have to use all 2 minutes? "55 seconds is not bad." So if you turn to tab 8, the blue tab, this is how you're going to be graded. Okay? Okay. Well, that's fine. I like mystery. Okay. So here's the point. The judges tonight are going to evaluate you in exactly the same way that top business guys are going to evaluate you. And it boils down to, did you get the meeting or not? Now, these judges are going to tell you the truth. And if you do a bad job, they're going to say, no meeting. You didn't convince me. I'm too busy to fool around with somebody like you. That's true in real life. How do you know if you failed with an elevator pitch to a senior executive? They will say, call my secretary. That means no, you are toast. Any other cosmic insights? So, as I think about today, I want you to embrace the concept of BHAG. You don't know, I didn't show you this part. He did. I got past the censors, okay? Yeah? So we know that we want to achieve total global domination of our chosen market niche. Right? She knows. Only she knows, right? BHAG means big, hairy, no, more ugly than that. Another, yeah, hairy, audacious goal. And the way we're going to get there is by having deep domain expertise in vertical markets which have high potential. we will give a banking example today. But each of you will want to specialize and gain a deep understanding of at least one of these verticals. Perhaps we didn't choose the right verticals. Perhaps one of them isn't going to work. Perhaps there's a vertical that has very high potential that we didn't think of. That's a process in the senior management to take one out and put one in. But for now, why did we select vertical markets? Blue shirt, you. Yeah, your shirt's blue. I'm talking, yes, sir. Why did we select vertical markets?
Maybe you have more experience about what they need to be sold, and we got some experience about that.
Okay, exactly. Why did we select vertical markets, sir? I'm going to call on everybody, so don't worry. Okay, but I'm going back here. Why did we select vertical markets? Because we can learn more about their business by making them successful, okay? And most likely, our experience with one major company in a vertical can be used in reproducible unit in another company. By the way, which is stronger, the culture of an industry or the culture of a nation? Industry. So a bank in Colombia is probably a lot like a bank in Peru or Spain. So if we really learn a lot about banking in Colombia, we can use that information, aquí. How about insurance? Insurance is boring in the same way everywhere. But actually, first of all, they make money, which is not boring. Okay. Yes? And what else? Are there different kinds of banks? We stood last night looking at Generali. They're a challenger here in Spain. They move faster, they're more energetic, they're trying to, also here in Spain, AXA, French bank, new in the market, they're very aggressive and they're finding little niches where they can crush the big elephants. And they're using, I hate to say it, they're using technology to do it, all right? Smart technology, AI, and so on. So each player, in some cases, will be a challenger, and in some cases will be a defender. We think, after the second bottle of wine last night, we had a working dinner, okay? We think after that Banco de Bogotá is a defender in Bogotá and a challenger in Medellin. And we think, we're not sure, but we're going to test it, that Bancolombia is a defender in Medellin and a challenger in Bogotá. That's going to be an interesting fight. Who makes the most money in war, business war? The companies selling the guns. That's us. I'm sorry, this is not a popular analogy these days. Okay. So, does each team know what their vertical is? Okay. We've chosen for them.
No, we just pair. They have to.
Oh, you have to choose. Okay, so I know one team is doing banking. You guys should select. That's why it's in the book. There's no excuse. You got to figure it out. And that's what you're going to do during the break. You're not going to have coffee and talk about the weather. You're going to have coffee and work. Okay, sorry, you're in the Army now, okay? This is the way it is. Who is your teammate? Well, you could probably win. This is two very sharp guys, right? Okay. Who is your teammate?
Sandy.
Where's Sandy? Okay. Good. Well, you have a chance. So but you're going to have to pick a vertical that you know something about. Okay. You can't pick the same vertical as them necessarily without permission from Senors Grande. Okay. So we will build deep expertise about the customer's business. Many people ask me, what criteria do I use to evaluate whether or not the salesman is really effective? What criteria do you think we should use to evaluate whether the sales guy is really effective? This is Mr. Margin talking, okay?
I would look if the guy is talking about me and my interests and my objectives, or his process, his characteristics.
Right.
That wouldn't be good. I would like him talking about
A plus, okay? Like him to be customer centric,
Yeah.
not like a millennial. Look at me, okay? So millennial attitudes are not allowed, right? Good, that's very good, sir. What's another way that we will evaluate whether a salesperson is effective or not? Excuse me for pointing, but you know who I'm pointing at because I did the back row already. Now it's you. Yeah. How do we know if the salespeople are effective or not? Criteria that you as a manager can use to know whether the salesperson. He said customer centric. What else? Okay, they have to be ambitious, right? Focus on the target, okay. Sir, how else do we know? David? Yeah. Okay. How do we know the salesperson really is effective? Well, results, yes. Why else? How do we know in advance? Because results. Okay. Juan Carlos?
The intensity of sales activity, number of meetings.
The intensity of sales activity, number of meetings, number of phone calls, number of confirming letters, right? Is he a good listener?
Is he can generate a relationship with the customer.
Generate, why do they need a relationship?
Because you need, he calls you when they think when the customer receives a call for him, that your customer has to say, oh, good, Juan Carlos called me. No,
Yeah.
It's a good news.
That's really good. The customer likes to hear from our salesperson. Why else?
You have the internship plan to get the results with the sales.
Okay.
He's touching the right person in the right company.
They're dealing with the business people who have money, power, and influence, and not dealing with the secretary. And well, you better get along with the secretary, right? The IT guys. Why else? Good. Yes, sir.
Because develop trust, because develop client trust to identify the really needs.
Can maintain a business conversation about the needs of the client.
If you can like give results to the needs, to the client needs, you will develop trust. And the trust is based on the relationship.
So he mentioned two key points. Know the customer's business and generate trust through domain knowledge, because trust is a precondition for doing business. I have some simple points to build on what you said. Does the customer call you for advice about his business? Do you know more about his business than he does? Secondly, you didn't mention it yet. Our salespeople need to understand the customer's organization and the customer's processes. How does a customer get approval for a purchase order at a good margin to buy from us, to pay for the evaluation, to pay for the pilot, and to pay for the rollout? We need to understand their business processes. A good indicator is if somebody working at the customer calls your sales guy and says, who do I talk to in my organization? Where you are known to understand your customer better than some of the people in the customer itself. And lastly, some of you are sales managers, right? And you have sales people working for you. And they're all very charming and maybe even a little bit macho, right? And they will say to you, the customer loves me. Did that ever happen? Yeah, okay, a lot of people are smiling, okay? Here's the test. If your sales guy, and guy is not gender specific, I hope you have a lot of women salespeople, because this is the decade for women salespeople, for sure, all over the world. If the salesperson sends a text message to the senior manager on the weekend, does he answer? if they get an answer from a senior executive to a text message on the weekend, then your salesperson is wired. Otherwise, it's hot air. That is the single best predictor of whether your salesperson is really has a relationship or not. Or, stated another way, you get to find out whether your sales guy is telling the truth about the relationship or not. Do you believe that the KPIs for the top sales executive in one insurance company are likely to be the same KPIs for a top executive in another insurance company in another country? So what we need to know and have a deep understanding is the KPIs. And what is the best way to have a customer appreciate you?
Being able to improve the KPIs.
Yeah.
Critical KPIs.
If you can help them get a bonus, they'll learn to like you. And when they get it, they're going to love you. That's much more important than whether you're charming and affable and party planner. Help them achieve their KPIs. So have your break here. And when you're preparing, selecting your vertical and preparing your elevator pitch, it's got to start with the customer's KPIs. Okay? So we spoke about customer-centric. Start with the customer and work backwards. Can we be more specific? We're going to have to calculate the economic benefits that we're going to deliver. We're going to have to be able to show that we will accomplish in financial terms their objectives. How many credit cards did we sell each month? And we have to promise it. Well, I don't know how it is here at Bancolombia, but at Banco de Bogota, we sold 80 credit cards per month. And you got those credit cards for less than it was costing you today. And then the next month we got another 80. And the next month we got another 80. So that's something they can measure. And they can calculate, as we can, what is the ROI of that. But sometimes they forget that loyalty in banking is a result of selling multiple products. If you have only one product with a bank, your level of loyalty is asymptotic to zero. You can switch tomorrow. But if you have 3, 4, or 5, that's another matter. Switching cost goes up. I'm not sure if we always remember to sell that concept, but the sales and marketing guy will be thinking about it, or should be, Or maybe it's latent pain that we need to develop because we know more about their business. Okay? What is a divine elevator sales pitch? What makes it wonderful? We're going to talk about that. Why are we heading towards omni-channel?
But you always think about the customer.
Yeah, you always think about the customer. Why are we heading to omni-channel? Sir?
The sales process is not linear or sequential. There's many items that you need to take into account on different channels or different touch points that you need to use to actually convince someone to take it more.
The sales process is not linear. You have many different touch points. Some people say that customers make decisions with 4 different parts of their body: their head, their heart, their gut, and their wallet. Okay? Now, if you're a government official, it's head, heart, gut, wallet, and covering your reducing risk, right? So the key point here is we need to touch all of them. Very good. If you forget his point, head, heart, gut, just do the Macarena, okay? Okay. So today we have to spend a little more time having a common understanding of what this all means. And you really are going to have to calculate the value proposition, okay, and express it in numbers. And it's not only about profit or margin. It can be strategic. Like the point I mentioned, selling 3, 4, or 5 products raises the switching cost. That's okay. But when we calculate the benefit, it has to be starting with the customer's point of view and addressing criteria that you agreed with them. When is the right time to agree on the criteria that will be used to evaluate us? Early on in the process, right? So why not include the concept of the criteria in your pitch? If we can enable you to sell 80 credit cards a month, is that interesting? If we can enable you to increase the number of loans outstanding, if we can make the Google stores within stores twice as productive in terms of sales, number of units, whatever, is that what you want? Get the criteria expressed as a question on day 1. Now, that means you have to know their business. That means you have to prepare for the pitch. How many hours do you prepare to meet Senor Grande or Senora Grande, the VP of sales and marketing? How much preparation? Oh, I'll just be my charming self. No, how much preparation? How many hours, Senora? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm an MIT guy. I need numbers. A few, how many? Show me, I need some numbers. How many hours?
At least 2 days.
2 days, so 48 hours. Because you're not going to sleep if you're going to meet Senora Grande, right? You're going to be ready. Yeah. Well, yeah, but you're talking about document. I'm just talking about homework about her before you meet her. How many hours? 16. Okay, I've heard 16. I've heard 2 days. How much? A little bit longer. So 30 a week. So we know from the sales process that the pitch is everything, right? Because the pitch gets you the meeting, which gets you the evaluation. So everything comes from that. So it's a big deal. So how much time are you going to spend, sir? Yeah, so he said 2 days if I don't know them, right?
All the time, the process.
All the time. You're continuously studying your client's business and their KPIs because the client is changing their business, their market, their situation, and maybe their people are changing also. So continuously and 20, and what are we going to study before we go see the customer? Before we pitch, what do we need to know? Yeah, you're talking about yourself, which I'm sorry, you just dug a hole. I'm going to let you get out with his help. What do we need to know? We need to know his KPIs. We need to know what keeps him awake at night. Huh? We need to know his pain because no pain, no gain. Yes? Right?
Also his drivers, his motivations, his pains.
Yes. What are his business drivers? What else? You better, if you haven't studied his LinkedIn profile, you're grossly insincere, selfish, macho, self-centered, and you're going to be fired. If you haven't studied the LinkedIn profile of your target customer, you're out of here. If I have anything to do with it, okay. But I don't, so you're lucky, okay. But come on, we need to know.
Hobbies, sports, preferences, family.
Yeah, you need to know something about the person. What does she care about? What does she care about? And what does she need to do? What does she need to accomplish in order to get promoted? What does she listen to? Does she listen to the CEO of the company? So you better study what the CEO is saying in the annual report. The CEO is giving speeches. There are press releases with comments from the CEO. That your target's looking up if they're at all ambitious and awake and have an IQ in at least 2 digits, right? So you better look at what they're looking at. What do they care about? It's not about you. That's what Dr. No said, and he's right. You've got a lot of homework to do, and you're doing it continuously. You're continuously monitoring how your customer is evolving. What's even better than studying their LinkedIn profile? Even better. Talking to whom?
Maybe not with him, maybe with some decision makers near to him or influencing to them.
Yeah. So each of you probably has a relationship. Maybe you went to the same university, okay, with some people in the organization. You need to be talking to those guys and saying, hey, Clarita, tell me about Senora Grande, Ana. Tell me about Ana. What does she need to do to get a bonus? Because you can imagine the KPIs, but you want to verify them with somebody inside. If you ask, this is maybe a dangerous analogy, but if you ask the British intelligence what they really wish they had, they will tell you, we wish we had a guy inside the Kremlin telling us what's going on, because we have no freaking clue from the air. So LinkedIn is like a drone, but you need to know somebody who knows your target and who can tell you what they're thinking. What else do you need to know? Yeah, you need to know something about how capable they are and about relative to the competition. What else do you need to know?
You need to know about the context of the time you are. I mean, for example, sometimes it is the budget time or the
Exactly. Where are we in the budget cycle inside the company? Very good. Because, and we need to know another thing, how much can they sign for? In Catalonia, they say, how big is their pen? 30,000 euros, 50,000 euros, 100,000. What can they sign for? Now, in Europe, government agencies can sign for 30,000 euros without going to tender. If your price is 31,000, then it's never going to happen because they have to have a tender and 4 different offers, and it's a nightmare. You want to be in under the signature authority, right? In Japan, it's 3 million yen, which is about 30,000 euros, right? A lot of companies in North America, it's either 5,000 or 50,000. It depends, but you need to know all of those things. And when do they put together their budgets? So for most companies, the fiscal year ends on December 31st. Most. Your client. If your customer is in Japan, when does the fiscal year end? March 31st.
many companies also in September or August.
Yes, many companies, September 30. It goes back to the days when their budget depended on the harvest. That's true in Japan as well. The summer harvest and the winter harvest. Yeah, and where's the guy? We had a guy from EY here today. Yeah, okay. So he'll tell you that you hear about last minute changes. He's trying to get the audit done, right? And so on. So usually the budget is put together in October, usually, and finalized a little later. But October is the budgeting process for December 31st, because the board has to approve it and so on. So now it's March. You have to get the evaluation. You have to complete the evaluation. You have to get the budget for the pilot into the budget before October. Or maybe even for the full-scale rollout, if you're lucky. But if you miss that budget and then you ask for $1 million, what's going to happen? NFW, which means no way, okay? It's not going to happen. For $1 million, you got to be in the budget. They can't just, oh yeah, sure, that's pocket change. So you need to understand their processes. Very good. And how are you going to find that out? Your friend on the inside, Clarita. Oh, Clarita, when are you closing the budget this year? Oh, I just got the memo, Carlos. It's yeah, we're going to do October 15 this year. Thank you. Why is Clarita going to help you, your friend on the inside? Because most people are as loyal to their old university friends as they are to their company. They're not going to tell you anything that's top secret, but they might coach you a little bit. Well, I can't tell you, but ask me a question. Yeah, is it October 15th or October 31st? Well, Halloween, yeah, okay. So, you know, you see, there are ways. You better have spies inside. You're never going to sell anything over $1 million if you don't have a coach inside. Coach inside. Do most companies have somebody in charge of innovation these days? Most insurance companies have recognized that fintech revolution is coming, and they have assigned somebody, usually a VP, to worry about the future. And that guy has a budget for innovation. Okay? His budget for innovation is probably $500,000 or $1 million. And he needs to do some projects to innovate. Is that guy a risk-averse type of person if he's been working in that company for 20 years? So here's a guy who's risk-averse in charge of innovation. So he knows he has to do something. He knows he has to do some projects. He has a budget to do the projects. We are the perfect person to help him with his budget problem. We will help you. We'll show that you're doing something. We are the low-risk option with the high understanding of the future. We know where the world is going. We can help you. It's a great way to get into the insurance industry. I'm just giving an example. By the way, I didn't make that up, Juan Pablo. I did that last year with one of my AI companies, right? And we went to all these insurance companies and we said, who is the person in charge of innovation? Oh yeah, Carlos, we just made a guy in charge. And then we go to Carlos and he says, I have no clue what to do. We'll help you. How much can you sign for? I can do $250,000 for each project. Great, let's do one with us. We're the low-risk option in the high-risk area. We did the pilot. The innovation guy paid for it. Then what happens? You go to the business unit and you say to the business unit, we demonstrated results. Now we want to be in your budget. It's just an example of how the fintech revolution is creating opportunities for us in financial services. It's just an idea, right? Okay. This one is going to be hard for you. I like you, but this one is going to be hard. We, fortunately or unfortunately, we have some competition, right? They are useless gangsters, but still. What is the perfect way for us to differentiate ourselves from those lower life forms who are our competition and immediately create trust with the finance guy in the customer's organization? What is the best way to create trust with Dr. No in the customer's organization and to differentiate ourselves? Trust, differentiation. What's the best way? ROI, good. E means E, okay, yeah. You're gonna love this. NCNP. NCNP. No cure, no pay. If we don't deliver results for you, don't pay us. Yeah. We'll take the risk because we are confident we can deliver for you. Now, what's the flip side? Why do you like this?
That's not good for me, for the sellers.
Are you sure? Because our pricing, if it's no cure, no pay, they're not going to compare our price with the competitor gangster. We are a completely different company. We're your partner. We are on the same side of the table. If we deliver results for you, we share. Now, you just said, yeah, which means you understood. But you didn't give, are you going to give approval for this idea?
Well, that depends on how risky is for us, because if we know a lot of the business, if we know which results can we get, that's okay.
Yeah.
But if we are exploring a new client, a new industry or something, maybe me as a CFO of the seller's company is saying no. That's the risk.
Okay. No. This guy is a good business person. What he's saying is, I don't know how to. I need help with vocabulary here because I only know words which might be controversial. Is it? Do we know each other well enough to be? What he's saying is, if I trust the sales guy, if I trust this project will be successful, I'm willing to bet the company, bet the deal, and share in the upside. Is that what you said? And now I think you also said, if I think the sales guy is bullshitting and it's going to be a disaster, I'm not going to approve it. Did she translate right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Good, thank you, Senora. What's wrong with taking this risk? Nothing. It changes the DNA of our company from, oh yeah, it's going to be wonderful, to, if we don't deliver the results, you don't pay us. We move the company into a no BS zone. We become a performance product rather than a feel-good product. Can we do that? I'm going to interpret what you just said as, yes, we can. What happens to the sales cycle if we say no cure, no pay? What happens to our profitability if we say no cure, no pay, and the sales cycle is shorter? Stand up and do that. I love this guy. All right, yeah. Get the picture. Take his picture, for Christ's sake. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, let's do this together. We can be Nixon and Agnew. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Look, we need the photo. Other hand up. Okay. Right. This is a transformational moment for our company. We're moving to a performance rather than feel good. I'm a sales guy, and he's a finance guy, and we're friends. Imagine that. Okay. Remember the conversation we had last night? I knew I could count on you. Thank you. Very good. So we've reduced the sales cycle, we've increased the margin, and we've become totally committed to delivering value to the customer as measured by them. So what's the deal? What kind of deal should we propose to the customer?
I'm thinking that when you got committed to the success, you are also assuming a risk, and all the financial guys know that, But for example, when you say to the customer that you are going to assume that risk, but the commission is going to be higher, you're going to, cover this financial risk. And it doesn't erase like the trust you're putting in your solution, because you're saying, I know your need and I have the solution and I trust in my solution, but it is going to cost you.
Well,
I think that is fine. I think that is fine because you are not paying change pocket. You are paying for a solution.
So, thank you. Completely agree. So what's the price? Win-win. I love this guy, okay? Profit sharing. Is it okay if I recommend some numbers? So, who was the first venture capitalist in the world? Isabella Cattolica. She made a deal with a guy from out of town. She gave more than money, logistics, right? Huh? Yeah, the banker was Valencian and he was from Genoa, and the deal was done in Granada, right? There was a term sheet, then they finished the war, and then they did the deal. What was the deal? Half for you, half for me. Simple. Why not say to the customer, no cure, no pay. If we deliver, half for you, half for us. Better margin, more work, and everyone in the company who is involved in the deal will really learn the systems and the KPIs and the processes of the customer, because our revenue will depend on how we deliver the result. And that team, after they deliver the result and do the deal, can go to another company in the same industry and say, we did it for these guys, now let's see if we can do it for you. And geographic barriers go way down. Our expertise and our source of strategic competitive advantage, sustainable competitive advantage, comes from our profound knowledge of the customer's needs, processes, and economics. Is this okay, JP? I don't want to violate any of JP's laws, right? Good. So this is account-based marketing, and we're focused on the jury, the customer. So, of course, this is all about the numbers. It's all about being customer-centric. It's all about, this is a high-value, highly rational sales process where there will be multiple people on the jury that you have to satisfy. And you'll have to express it in numbers, because numbers, results, benefits become the currency of communication inside the customer's organization. So now we get the meeting. The meeting leads to an evaluation. The customer decides that they want to evaluate our solution. This is another time when we want to write down and confirm with the customer what criteria are you going to use to decide whether the evaluation is a success. The criteria for evaluating success. Because that becomes the one-page business plan for going forward. Because nothing else matters. We're not going to write to them about the process. Somebody's going to ask, but we're not going to write that. We're going to say, these are the success criteria. What did we leave out? What do we need to add? What do we need to change? Let's get agreement on the success criteria. How long is that going to take with the customer? Getting agreement on the success criteria. I know you like numbers, right? How long is that going to take? Sitting with the customer to agree upon the criteria for success.
Depends the client.
Yeah, it depends on the client. That's an MBA answer, correct and not operational. Okay. How long?
2 months, 3 months.
2 months?
It should be short.
Well, okay, so she says 2 months and you say minutes. Let's find a way here. Why do you say minutes and why does she say 2 months?
Back to the critical KPIs, the criteria should be known for the client.
I say to see the contract.
Right. That's for sure.
Maybe
It will take time. You're completely correct. But you can shorten that process by selecting a price for which Senora Grande can sign. Don't go to some jury. What can she sign for the evaluation? Because we want to get on with the evaluation as soon as possible because the pilot is going to cost more money. Okay. So you said minutes. Maybe you're right that in 30 minutes you can sit at a table with Senora Grande, the decision maker, if you know her business, if you have trust, if you have studied her KPIs, and she will confirm to you. And maybe you will have come that morning with the criteria already written down. How about this? And then there's another criterion, which is her point. What do we need to do to get this done? Who do we need to talk to? Is there a meeting? Well, every Tuesday we have a meeting to decide. Oh, it's a weekly meeting, yes. And then there's a monthly meeting, which is on Thursday. Well, when's the next monthly meeting? Oh, it's this week. Oh, well, maybe I should change my travel plans and stay here, and we'll go to the meeting on Thursday together. Well, we've never had an outsider. Well, there's a first time for everything, or at least, I can be sitting outside, or, You want to build trust. There was a woman in Andalusia, Sevilla, brilliant technology CEO, and she wanted to win a deal in Chile. And she has a big company, 4 people. And she was competing with a big company sort of like you were in the old days, right? Big company, 1,000 people from Mexico. They sent 5 people to Chile, and she went by herself, flying coach, and they went business class. They stayed in a good hotel. She stayed in a B&B, right? You get the idea. And we were preparing for her trip. And it was a shootout organized by IT. For God's sakes, right? So we said, go meet the CMO. The CMO is the decision maker. So she gets in the building and she asks everybody, starting with secretary, where's the CMO's office? Oh, down that hall and to the right. I'm here for the big shootout with the Mexican gangsters, right? Oh, yeah, I heard about that. She made her elevator pitch, standing in the doorway of the CMO's office. Fortunately, the CMO was a woman, so she got a full 2 minutes. Are these the criteria you're using to evaluate success? And the lady was impressed because our hero knew what she needed to be successful. The IT guys, did they understand? Not really. And then, and we had practiced this, the marketing CMO said to our hero, when are you going back to Sevilla? What's the answer?
I don't have a flight to go back.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going home until I have earned your business. Whoa. The ninja crushed the elephant. By the way, it was a small telephone company in Chile called Movistar. Okay. That's the way we're going to win. Understand the jury, understand the decision maker, understand their KPIs, and stay until the job gets done. You've heard of Oracle and Larry Ellison. Right? They have a sales culture. If you visit the sales people, they have offices. It's the old days, right, when they had offices. What do they have on the wall of their offices? Pictures of themselves and their degrees from Harvard and MIT? No, pictures of the customers being successful using their software. It's all about the customer. Buy a one-way ticket. Stay there till the deal gets done. So who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? Have you selected your vertical yet? Well, you say no. You were going to say more or less. More or less. Tell me. Which one? You haven't selected. Have you selected your vertical?
Not really.
Not really. And can you just say no?
No.
Okay. All right.
Insurance.
Huh?
Insurance.
You're going to go with insurance.
Yes.
Okay. Who are you going to call?
Sorry?
So where are you based? Where's in Malaga?
Yes.
Okay. So where's your customer going to be in Madrid?
Malaga.
You have insurance companies in Malaga that are significant?
Yes, maybe. Our new customer.
We have one
Acceita base.
I mean, I'm all for Malaga for tourism, but not for business. So, okay, fine. If you invite me, I'll come. All right. I have another. Thank you. Tomorrow would be hard, but sometime soon, right? Are you going to try a local insurance company first to learn the business? Why not? Learn the vocabulary. Learn the secret handshake. Learn how they run. Get them to help you with other insurance companies. They will, because they don't want to be the only one. Every major company will want one other player to be using our capabilities. And every morning, when you get in your car, instead of driving to the office, go to the customer and do that for 2 weeks and learn their business. From the doorman to the CEO. And become the Salesland Increnta expert on insurance. Now, is it personal lines or is it property and casualty? The entire insurance industry is divided into 2 pieces, property and casualty or personal. Is it life or is it? Life and other related life savings instruments, probably. Personal lines. Learn the business. Sell to them. Make all of your mistakes with them. We say, do we have anyone here from Bolivia? Yeah, there's a reason, right? We say, if you're not sure of your product, do your product launch in Bolivia. Because if it's a disaster, nobody will ever know. It's a good way to start. And then come here, and then go global. Great. Who's your partner?
Carlos and Blas, we know Blas. We are using, well, sorry, I don't know if you want to choose insurance. Maybe yes. We have the two parts. We need to convince the first, and maybe we have 2 minutes for talking.
Well, that's what the coffee hour is for, and the coffee hour is coming up soon. Is it? Are we almost there? Well, this is Spain. Time is elastic, right? Good. So this is my question. Who are you going to call? What are you going to say?
Head of product, head of service. What do they call? CEO. No. For example, no. Maybe there is a owner product, owner service in a bank, for example. You can talk with the owner of the product, or the owner of the solution, or the service of the.
The business is a bank selling insurance. This is exactly the case he's mentioning. A bank selling insurance.
The blind leading the blind. Okay, I actually know something about that, and I know they need help.
And that is the case.
That is exactly
Yeah.
the case.
They don't know how to sell.
Okay.
And they have customers.
Yeah, because, and how did it happen? It was dark and it happened, right? They have no clue what selling was working and what was not working. It just, they put it out there and. Okay, so that's, are other banks selling insurance?
Yes.
Yeah. And are they doing well? No.
And many other products. They have millions of customers. They want to sell many products and they don't know how.
Yeah.
Insurance house, for example.
Yeah. How long is it going to take you to become an expert in this?
3 months.
Yeah.
4 months.
Yeah. I would recommend that you, in this case, that you don't start with the CEO.
No.
You start with guys who have the problem and who, and I have a movie, which I'm going to show, I hope, maybe, okay, right after the break, of a sales guy, and he doesn't look exactly like you, but he could be you, where you go in and you say, I'm confused, what's going on? Tell me. And draw them out. And if you want, one of the best things to say is what does success look like? How do we measure success? What criteria what does success look like for you? How are you going to improve but what I'm saying in this chart is you need to understand enough about your customer's organization that you can figure out the entry point for the discussion. And right now, you don't really know. You think it's the product manager, and probably a lot of the problems come to his desk or her desk.
Yeah, but, probably the head of product, the head of service, can decide one pilot, for example,
Yes.
5 months, 6 months. Maybe if you have a great experience with the manager, maybe you can sit with the CEO.
Yes, probably. But probably you're going to meet the CEO in another way.
Yeah.
Because he or she doesn't want to say to the CEO, I'm confused, I have no clue what to do, so I'm asking these guys to help. That's probably not a good way to get promoted, right? And you never want to say, your man has no clue. You want to say, we can help him be even more successful, of course. Yes, sir.
For example, when you give results to this guy, you can become this guy in the spy you were talking a few minutes later, or the ambassador that go to the president and say, you know what, I have a big project, I want that you know, and you hear this guy.
So who's the best person? Who is the best ambassador for our company?
For our company?
Yeah,
Ourselves.
exactly. You can bring him along, but you better be in the room.
Of course. But
Like that play, Madison. I want to be in the room when the decision is made. You don't want to be outside hoping. Why don't you want to hope? Because hope is not a strategy. Write that down. Hope is not a strategy. You got to be inside the room every step of the way. from the doorman to the CEO. And you have to know that guy, that product management guy, so well that if you text him on the weekend, he'll answer you. He has to trust you, depend on you, and want to be with you. And it's not about getting tickets for the football game. It's about making him successful in a very difficult situation. But you need to know all of the elements of the organization. And if you're not sure of the organization, I often recommend that you draw in pencil an organization chart. I think that this is, the CEO is Juan Pablo, and I think that the VP of sales and marketing is Clarita, and I think that you report to Clarita, but maybe you have somebody else that you report to because of matrix organization, and then you draw a dotted line to a box that's empty and say, how do things work around here? How do we get shit done here? GSD. Does everybody write down GSD? Get stuff done. And ask, be confused. How does it work? And then you hand the thing to them, and then they take your pencil, and then they start telling you everything about the organization and who you need to talk to, and oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, Carlos, and then Ana, and yeah, okay. Tell me more about that, and then they'll start drawing the whole organization chart and everybody you need to make as your friend. But start by drawing the best that you can from public information or from your spy. You live in Malaga, right? If you don't have spies in Malaga, you are nowhere, right? So you better have. Yeah, good. And your budget for entertaining them just went up because you need to start sucking the information so that you know who to call. Before you call the product manager, you better talk to your friends. Who owns this problem? Who's the problem owner? How do they get promoted? How much can they sign for? It's just all common sense, right? Except common sense is not so common. Okay, so I know one thing. The best way to get good ratings is be on time for the coffee break. So here we go. So you're going to be the coffee break. This is business. You're going to go and you're going to have coffee with your team, and you're going to make your decision about what you're going to pitch. Do you have any announcements or things that, Señor Grande?
El café sí. El café es en el. No. Terrafático, sí.
Alba, where's the coffee? 6.
Tenemos media hora y media, ¿no? Hay que elegir un sector y una compañía. Un sector, una compañía y una persona. ¿Vale? Cada equipo.
Okay, let's get the movie. It's the one.